My name is Lester Graham. I'm a local resident of Southern Pines. My family moved here in the early 40s, around 1945-46. I was the first one born in Moore County of my family. I have 3 sisters and I have 6 brothers. We all lived over on South Stevens Street, which is approximately 3 blocks from downtown Southern Pines. We went to school at West Southern Pines High School, and that's where we graduated from. Most of us did. My parents, my dad worked as a brick mason. My mother worked as a cook. The name of the place was where she cooked was Hammer's Restaurant. My dad did brick mason throughout. He did the schools in Southern Pines that were built. He laid bricks there, and he did that up until the time he was able to do so, and then he went into bad health and he passed away. My mother lived to be about 70 years of age, and then she passed away. I have 1 brother, 1 sister that have passed away. Everybody else is still living. And all of my brothers and sisters are over 70 years old, and they are still living today. Now, talking about my lifehood, I was married in 1967, September the 2nd, in Cheraw, South Carolina. My wife was from Bennettsville, South Carolina. The 2 towns are maybe 15 miles apart, and that's why we had the wedding there. After marriage, we moved to Washington, D.C. During that time of movement to Washington, D.C. from 1967, there was a riot that took place in D.C. The riot had a great effect upon her lifestyle. So we decided that we would move back to North Carolina. We had a place that we could go to in High Point, North Carolina, or we could go to Rayford, North Carolina. This was back in the year of 1970. After we decided that we would move back in 70, we selected Rayford, North Carolina, to live there. At that time, I joined the Rayford Fire Department, which was called North Rayford Fire Department. And I worked in Southern Pines at Proctor Souths. And this was back in 1973 to 1975. After living in Rayford up until that time, which is for about 21 miles, we would drive back and forth. I was working one day in Southern Pines, and this guy came up and said, "Do you want to join our fire department?" And I said, "Sure, be glad to." But before that happened, during my lifetime, early, when I was about 13 or 14 years old, there was a man that lived across the street in a house, and the house caught fire. That man was about 70 years old when the house caught fire, and he could not get out. And from that day on, I said I would live my life to help people so that they can escape a fire or some other disaster. And that's why I joined the fire department from that time on. The man died in the fire, and it was always there. I could, even today, I can visualize what it's like because I was there. And it took the fire department a while to get there because they was all volunteer. So it was something that had a great effect on me. So after that time period, and I went on to school and graduated from high school and everything. But that still has an effect upon me today because I can still visualize what happened. So, now moving on, let's move into the time after let's see. In Southern Pines, it was a very nice, neat little town. We had one high school, and we all attended the schools at the same time. The school still exists today, part of it, and the other they tore down. And in 1964, I graduated from high school. After graduating from high school, I moved to New York with my family because they moved there in 61. They moved to New York. I stayed here, but I went there during the summer months. And then in 1964, I graduated, and I went to school. I went to school after school because they had this program where you call it where people trade school.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. And I went there to be a chef cook. And I graduated from that school for being a chef cook, and I went to work for a store called Needix. And that's where they did a lot of short order cooking. You know, they did the rolls, they did the breakfast stuff is what they did. And that's what I did there at Needix. And then after that, I moved back down to Southern Pines and then moved on around. In 1973, I went to work for Proctor Silas. There, I was a quality control inspector at Proctor Silas. Proctor Silas is where they make the steam irons and things. So that's what we did there in that time. From 73 to 1974, I worked at Proctor Silas. And then that's when the guy came and asked me if I wanted to be a fireman in Southern Pines. And I told him, yeah, sure, I'll be glad to. So I went and got the job in Southern Pines to work as a fireman. The pay wasn't good. The pay was very, very poor. I made $6 an hour to start off as a fireman in Southern Pines. $6 an hour. And had to go to school, had to learn how to operate the equipment, how to put out fires and stuff like that. but I also went and took college courses and fire prevention specialist, arson investigation, arson detection. I even went to the FBI Academy in Glencoe, Georgia, and I spent 6 months there for that arson detection. So I had my stuff in a row. When I went to the fire department, I was riding the back of the truck, the tailboard. When I left the fire department, I was next to the chief in charge because it was hard work. It wasn't easy. I've been called from the Son of God to everything else. It wasn't easy, but I stood my ground and I continued to work. And one thing the mayor told me, he said, never let anyone know what you know. He said, you always keep that back, because with that, you're able to make progress. So that's what I continue to do. I worked for the town of Southern Pines from 1974 to 1999. And then I went to work for American Airlines in 1999 to 2018. I went to work for American Airlines. It was difficult. It wasn't easy working for American Airlines, but you had to have a job. You had to do something. After American Airlines, I went to work for Harris Teeter. Worked for them for 3 years. And then I went to work at First Health. Okay. Important was the fire that happened in Vass. There was 5 children that died in that fire. And the reason why that they died, because there was no smoke detector in the house. So I put out jars to collect money, and also I contacted the Duracell company and the Eveready company for batteries, for smoke detectors. The Duracell company and the Eveready battery company donated over 1,000 smoke detectors for the area in Southern Pines. And we installed them in the homes of the people who qualified for them. So that was very, very important. And that still sticks with me today. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they need to go back to the basics. Nowadays, everything is real fast, and everything is on a computer, and you just got it. It's right there before you. All thing you got to do is know how to operate it. You can take a 4-year-old or somebody in kindergarten, give them a computer, and they can work it like it's nothing. But do they have the basic training of how that's going to come about? How did it come about? Who taught them to learn how to add, subtract, divide, to multiply? Who taught them? Nobody taught them. They just started hitting buttons. No, but they need to be taught that.
Okay. Well, what advice would you give future generations?
They need to take a look at themselves. Just sit down and take a look at yourself.